Once upon a time there was a mermaid who lived in a cave near the sea. In the evening when fishermen would come in their boats to catch fish, the mermaid would swim alongside their boats and listen to their conversations. The fishermen would talk excitedly about their beautiful village, green fields, and colorful flowers. The mermaid would listen with great interest and amazement. At last her heart developed a desire to see all these beautiful things. One day the mermaid decided to swim into the river that flowed beside the fisherman's village and fell into the sea. One night when the moon had dressed the ocean in its glowing light, the mermaid set out towards the river. The river's fresh water seemed very strange to her. Yet the mermaid swam happily in the river, passing through lush green meadows where cows and buffaloes were grazing. Seeing them, she became frightened and started swimming faster, shaking her shiny tail quickly in the water. When the stars began to fade and the cool morning breeze started blowing and a faint yellow light appeared in the east, the mermaid became afraid that someone might see her. As this thought crossed her mind, she turned back and started swimming swiftly towards her home. At that moment a young shepherd was coming to the river to water his sheep. His eyes fell on the silver body of the mermaid. He called out to her. The mermaid looked back at him. She was so astonishingly beautiful that the shepherd lost all sense of himself. He stood there in astonishment, unable to utter a single word. The mermaid let out a loud scream as soon as she saw the shepherd and dove into the water. Then she swam quickly underwater towards the sea. The shepherd walked along the riverbank for a long distance, but could not find any trace of her. At last he returned to the spot where their eyes had met. The shepherd sat down on his knees at the riverbank and stared intently at the waves, hoping to see the mermaid again, but she did not appear. All day long, the shepherd remained there in the hope of seeing her beautiful face once more, but the mermaid never came back. The second day passed, then the third day also passed, yet there was no sign of her. At last, driven by his heart, the shepherd set up his bed permanently by the riverbank. Now the shepherd would sit all the time on his knees staring intently at the water, but the mermaid never appeared again. On the other hand, when the mermaid safely reached her cave, she never dared to see humans or their world again, and she never swam back into the river. After some time, the shepherd died of hunger, thirst, and sorrow right there by the riverbank. When his friends came looking for him, they found his body lying near the river. The body was not in a condition to be taken back to the city for burial, so all his friends decided to bury him right there on the riverbank. The next year, a tiny sapling sprouted from his grave, and as years passed, it grew into a big dense tree. By God's will, this tree leaned over the water just like the shepherd, as if it was looking into the water searching for something. When the evening breeze passed through its leaves, it made a sound that seemed like someone was sighing. To this day, people know this tree as the weeping tree.